Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to come back in Wild Rift games that are really not looking good. And so I'm just going to give you guys some tips and various examples. And the first thing is going to be that it's very important to play around sides and catch waves on important timers. So this is a great example of a game where you see how many waves I get. I die, I immediately come topside, I grab one wave, I get a second wave that comes, and then I get this third wave. And after that, I'm able to get this tower as well. And so you might think, well, that's pretty simple. There's just a wave there. Just go and get the wave. That's not really anything special. Why are you telling me that? Well, the reason I'm telling you this is because in most scenarios, you would be a bit scared to even walk up this far as a Ziggs. But why can I walk up this far? It's because I'm 0 and 3. I'm worth basically no gold if someone kills me because I'm already behind. And so me going up further and greeting that extra wave and that extra tower that I otherwise wouldn't if I was in a normal Ziggs game allows me to hit my item spike, allows me to get extra gold, and makes it much easier for us to come back so that later on in the game, we're going to be in a much better position gold-wise to potentially win. So basically, play around sides and be more greedy about taking turrets when you are behind because there's not as much of a punishment if you do get caught out. Okay, and then the next tip is to move frequently and make more aggressive, risky plays when you are behind because it'll give you a better chance at coming back. So for example, I was just in mid lane here, I take a small fight on the Graves, and then I immediately rotate. And now I want you to notice on the map specifically, we just saw Graves on the top side, so we know that he left there after that initial engagement we had. And so I'm going to walk up more aggressively, and even though I'm a squishy champion, I have my flash, I have my second ability, I'm going to allow Yone to engage on me and be perfectly okay with that because I know that I'm baiting for my teammates. So I'm playing around the fact that I know Graves is topside, I know that Tristana is topside, Lysandre's in mid lane, so it's very unlikely that there are other people here. And so I'm going to utilize that small advantage, that small window where I have an extra member to then be over aggressive and bait someone into me. Additionally, I'm making this play on the side of the map where there's still a turret up. So because I'm making this play on the side of the map where there's a turret up, we gain more if we do potentially win this. Even when you are further behind, because obviously this is earlier on in the game, if you're further behind later in the game, you'll have turret bounties as well, so it'll be more beneficial. And then you notice how here, even though the enemy are rotating again, we know the enemy Graves was topside. Now my team didn't end up really rotating here, but notice how I'm again overstaying for another wave and greeting another wave. The reason that I know that I'm okay to do this is simply because one, I knew the Yone was low, and so you saw I get a little snipe on him there. But two, I'm able to make a more risky play like that snipe under the Yone because I know if I die, we're probably going to lose the game anyway. So I might as well go for something like that random kill on the Yone, which then further accelerates me and allows me to be in a potential to come back. So basically, make sure that you're moving frequently and trying to play around whatever turrets are up, and that you're making these more aggressive, risky plays when you are behind to potentially find, you know, one mistake from the enemy and punish that and then come back, such as in this play here where we ended up getting a nice kill out of it and some additional gold on the side lane. And then we continue to get more kills here because again, you notice how again, I'm being very aggressive. I see that Graves is not currently here. I'm, you know, making a more aggressive W forward and just overall going for these more aggressive plays, which then works out and allows us to come back quite nicely. Again, keeping this scrappy fight where the enemy come in one by one. And I know you're saying, you know, the enemy made mistakes. And of course they made mistakes. That's how you come back in games as well. You have to abuse enemy mistakes. And one of the best ways to do so is to be quicker on the map and move quicker, because a lot of times what ends up happening is they'll run in one by one like idiots like this. And keep in mind, this isn't a, you know, early season Grandmaster elo, so this is a high elo game, and players will still play like this, allowing us to now only be down 2k gold when we were down 5k gold just a couple minutes ago. Okay, so this next play has a few parts to it that I think are really important to note, and I kind of want to talk about win conditions and also understanding really what matters in this game. So if you look at this, I'm on the side lane. There's 45 seconds until dragon spawns. Death timers are roughly, say, 40 seconds right now, around that time. That's why I'm sort of okay with trying to catch this one additional wave so that the enemy can't push it and pressure our inhib, and I want to try that to get that pushed and then recall right after so I can set up for the dragon. The reason the dragon matters is because we have 2 dragons in this game, so we're down 5,000 plus gold, we're down 9 kills, the game is going very poorly, but we do have 2 dragons, and getting that dragon soul provides us with a potential opportunity to come back in this game. And so you're going to see here I get caught, and something I really want you to notice that's extremely important is that I run forward to die. I try to die by walking into them rather than trying to kite back, flash forward, do other things. The reason for that is because I know this dragon is what matters, and I need to die as quick as possible so that I can teleport back to the dragon and have the potential to win. So you see I walk in and die on purpose quicker because I realize I'm going to die eventually, and I don't want to stall more time. You're then going to see that I switch my items to teleport because I know, again, as soon as I respawn, I need to immediately teleport into this fight. And then that will be the potential win condition, because we're most likely going to lose this game. We're down 7,000 gold, you can see right now, but we have this 2 dragons. This is the one time someone has to make a mistake on the enemy team. I have to TP in and surprise them, which is exactly what ends up happening. One of the enemy we're going to see in a second, they're going to throw by dying, and then we get that potential opportunity because of their one mistake to come back. So making a play like this, where again, we know the death timers are a certain time, so I need to die before that dragon is going to respawn, because I want to make sure that I'm there for the dragon fight. The enemy end up throwing, and then I teleport in, and now we have a potential advantage. And now another important thing to understand about this fight is to understand your role in the comeback. And so that basically my role here as a Renekton who is behind is distraction. I'm not a useful champion when I'm behind like this on Renekton. I have a strong Viego, so the win condition of the fights is Viego carrying 1v9. The win condition of the game is getting this dragon, and so with those two things in mind, I need to stall whoever is going to make my Viego's game the hardest. And well, in my mind, that's obviously going to be Soraka. I don't want Soraka healing her teammates and potentially peeling when my Viego is trying to get resets. And you're gonna notice I go over the wall, I'm looking for the Soraka, I immediately flash onto her and just try to buy her time. I don't think I'm actually going to kill her here. That's not the point. The point is to get her separated from my team so Viego can play the fight. So basically, this gives us the dragon and then gives us a potential to come back in a game that was looking extremely rough. And so, again, the main things to take away from this are, on that side lane, I understood that's the last wave I can get, and so I go up for that wave, but I make sure when I realize that I'm caught to get caught quickly so that I can then be ready to teleport back quicker to the fight, because I understand our win condition, again, is Viego popping off in a fight and getting that dragon soul, and then playing around that is how I end up putting us in a position alongside my teammates who played that fight very well to then come back in this game and play around the Baron. The Baron is another important thing to note. Sometimes you might think that it's risky to go for a Baron when you kill just one person, but in a situation like this, it is much more valuable to go for the Baron, because we know that basically the best chance of winning is getting that Baron, simply because once we are behind, we have to make those more risky plays, go for the Baron or something like that. And then that ends up putting us in a position to end up winning this game. Okay, so again, an important thing to understand about making comebacks is that you have to play on the opposite side of the map. And so here I have 3 losing lanes, 3 hard losing lanes, and the dragon is about to spawn. I know the enemy are going to go to the dragon, and that's the most likely time for me to make a play somewhere else. So I go topside and play around this topside turret. I get a wave on topside, I go for the second wave, and then you're going to see here some of the enemy end up showing up eventually, and we look for a fight on them. Now the fight doesn't go perfectly or anything, and again, you see I'm trying to play for the turret here, trying to make some type of play, and then here when the Vladimir ends up going in on me, I know this is the best chance for us to make a play, because the enemy are now spread apart and I'm trying to essentially just draw them to other parts of the map. And so we end up going onto the Vlad here and getting the kill, but then end up dying. Now sure, I do die, but I got multiple waves, I got a kill, and my teammates get to go mid and take that turret, which has a gold bounty on it. So we're again drawing them across the map, where we look for trades on other sides of the map. We try to spread them thin, and then my teammates are now able to get a top side or a mid turret as I'm making a play on the top side, and we're basically spreading them apart. Whenever they're distracted by something else, we go and make a play on a different part of the map. And this essentially has allowed me, even though I am currently obviously in a very bad spot, I'm 2-2. The rest of my team has not gotten a single kill. I'm still ahead of their jungler, and I'm still, again, I'm 400 gold ahead of their jungler, who's obviously, you know, playing with 3 winning lanes. And this puts us in a position, even if we are still very behind, to have some type of point of strength, which is currently me, who is at least in a decent spot relative to the rest of the enemy. Okay, so another important thing is to find your specific opportunities to come back. And so even if you are, you know, behind and your team is doing really bad, oftentimes the enemy will make 1 or 2 mistakes, and then something will happen where you can potentially force a play. So for example here, Vladimir got caught about 20 seconds ago, and so he's been dead for a little bit. I know this is a potential opportunity for us to make a play, because we obviously have an additional member. The strongest member of the enemy team is Urgot, and he's currently distracted on the other side of the map. So even though the enemy jungle is alive, I'm still going to flip the objective and try to get the Baron. The reason I'm doing this is because since we are already behind, it's pretty valuable for me to try to flip an objective and just hope that I hit the smite, because we're probably going to lose anyway since we are behind. What this does, again, it draws them to us and allows us to bait the Baron, and then the enemy come and we're able to get free kills on them as their fed carry is distracted, and the Vladimir was obviously dead, so then we had that time. And so then we end up being able to get this Baron here. I think multiple of us do end up dying, but again, these aggressive, risky kind of flips are what you need to do anytime that you see any small advantage such as this one that is occurring, and then again it ends up being very close, but we get the smite. And so even if it doesn't work out as well as it might have, or as well as it could have, these are the types of opportunities you have to make where you're at least getting some type of advantage, finding something to getting that Baron, for example, when the enemy are distracted on a different side of the map or when they're dead, and taking advantage of this to at least stall the game out to a point where you have a potential to come back. And again, the final thing, guys, is to really make plays away from the strongest member of the enemy team and really take advantage of any small mistake that the enemy makes. So here, the enemy have Elder Dragon, but their Urgot is currently topside. And so I know, like, we're going to lose this game most likely. It's nearly unwinnable, but Urgot is not there. They have the Elder Dragon. This is our one chance. We hit a Lux Root onto the Vladimir. Vladimir used his invulnerability. I need to immediately go on him and just hope that we're able to take this 5v4, even if they have the Elder Dragon, because their Urgot is split from them. And so taking advantage of, again, any time where the enemy even slightly get caught out, making really aggressive plays such as this one to just maybe catch someone out, we end up stalling enough. The Urgot is stuck on the wrong side of the map, and then we win a fight, again, just taking advantage of enemy mistakes. So basically, to reiterate some of the main points from this video, since that's going to be the last sort of clip, make sure you're making plays on the opposite side of the map when you are behind initially to then put yourself in a position to come back later in the game. Once you're later in that game, make those aggressive, risky plays for Barons and Elder Dragons trying to flip or take a 50-50 fight. Make sure anytime that the enemy make even one mistake, you take a lot of advantage of that, making those very risky plays. And if you see the enemy carry or someone who's really strong on a different part of the map, use that time to really stage your comeback, because that's going to be the most likely scenario for you to come back. So obviously coming back in Wild Rift games requires the enemy to make mistakes, and I know all of these clips that I showed you, the enemy messed up, and that is what has to happen for you to come back when you're down 5-10k gold. And so I'm in no way, shape, or form saying that you're going to be able to come back in every single game by utilizing these strategies, but it will put you in a position to potentially catch an enemy throw. And again, keep in mind, these are some of the top players in North America making these mistakes that you're watching. So certainly in your games, if they are in lower elos, similar mistakes will occur and you'll be able to take advantage of them as well. And yes, sometimes, you know, you won't have the teammates to take advantage of them, but utilizing these tips will put you in the best position to come back in more games than you currently do come back in. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I do coaching for just $15 an hour, so DM me on Discord, Talon1169, or through the link in the description if you're interested in that. And I'll see you guys in the next video.